Thank you for joining in this lecture series where we are discussing concepts over Databricks. In previous section, we just discussed regarding understanding notebook and markdown basics and hands-on over Databricks. Now we will be discussing Databricks in notebook magic commands. What kind of hands-on we can do here? What kind of magic commands in Databricks are there? We will be discussing in this video. Let's dive right into the next topic. If any SQL command is to be executed, you can go back here at the top. I'll be selected SQL part. If any command which is related to Python, so I'll be selecting this Python from this part. All right. This would be changing default language. Or you can go back here anytime. Here you can see I just open this new tab, new pane, and click on notebook using control key. So I'm going to press, what exactly I'm going to press? I'm going to press control plus notebook. So this would open my new notebook in new tab. You can see this is new tab here. I'm going to close this tab because this is already open here in my first tab. So I'm going to close this part. Now go back here in this part where I'm going to write percentage SQL. So can you see when I'm going to hit this enter, this portion is just going to change. This side one SQL is going to change from Python itself. Or if I write another cell, just click here code, and this is going to allow you to write and to change another part. I'm going to run percentage R. Can you see it's showing percentage R here? If I'm going to write something else, which is, for example, I want to write something in Scala. So here I can write percentage Scala, where I'll be writing Scala related code. If I hit enter, can you see it's now changed with Scala. So here we had Scala, previously we had R language, now we had SQL. Okay. Now we had already seen what kind of structures are there in Markdown. So we had seen if you want to convert this line into Markdown, so you will have to change in MAD, right? Or simply MD. Then can you see it will be converted into Markdown. All right. Now I want to change all these cells, all these entire notebook default language. So I can click over here and will change that SQL to Scala or R language, which will have majority of the codes here. Let's select first path. Here I'm going to write Python code. So I'm going to write Python code here. So this would be Python code. What's the Python code? For example, I want to write print, and this would be my name, Sachin. So I want to write this name here. Let's run cell or press Ctrl plus enter. You can write this print. Can you see this printing Sachin here? If you want made comment over here, you can make it comment, which would be commenting site. You can see it's not going to throw any error here, and directly jump to next code. So this is default language in Python. Now I want to write something Scala related code. So here I'm just writing Scala, which is changing this cell language only, not entire default code. So I'm going to write this text, and in this text I'm just writing this hash with Python code. Just enter. Can you see it's just going to show this part? Just drag it top of this code. This would be Python code. Now I'm going to enter this another text, and here I'm going to write hash, and now I'm going to write Scala. Let's run this code. Can you see now it's writing Scala as a heading. Now inside this next cell, which is code cell, not a text cell, I'm going to write Scala, and I'm going to write print something, and this single code hello. But this will throw error. Can you see it's showing error because this is accepting some double quotes, not a single quote. So double quote is not there in Scala. Here we use double quotes in Scala. We do not use single quote in Scala for printing any keyword or any string value. So this will work, and also hash comment will also not work. For comments we use double slash and then my Scala comment. I will be writing that kind of comment here, right? So if you run this code, run this cell, you can see it's showing print hello output, and my Scala comment is also perfectly fine. Now go back here in the next text, and this would be my SQL command. Let's say I'm going to write hash SQL SQL, and I'm going to write this heading here. Now, can you convert into SQL? Yes, this cell would be in SQL part. Here you can see this is converted to SQL language now, and I'm going to convert into some query here. So I'm going to write select 5 plus 2 as sum. Let's run this code. Can you see it's going to connect my compute resources, my cluster, and without this cluster it won't be executed because it's going to run that part. So this 7 is the output. 7 is the output of my select statement from SQL. If I want to write any comment, so this would be using double hash, and I'm going to write SQL comment here. So this would be SQL comment. Can you see it's not showing any error anyhow, right? For example, if you want to run any R language code, you can see here, just hit %R, and using this %R, just hit enter and just assign some variable. Just write double quotes and just write code with Christie. So I'm going to write this variable and just try to print this variable X in the next line. Can you see this R language is just printing code with Christie statement. All right. So there are much more magical commands in Databricks. For example, I want to print some file system. So I'm going to write %fs with ls. So just run. Can you see it's just printing all things in all the directories inside Databricks, that is Databricks file system. Can you see this is DBFS stand for Databricks file system. You can go back here inside this catalog. If I click this catalog directly, it will disappear. My workbook, notebook will be disappear here, right? So I'll have to rename it. So I just come back here and just write magic commands in this notebook. So what will I do? I'll press control from my left hand side and click on catalog here. Can you see it's just showing this DBFS tab. If you click on this DBFS, you can see so many file store users, so many files are there, and it might not be there for you initially, but you can create all these files and folders and notebooks as well. Now, if these DBFS are not showing in your notebook, so what you'll do, you come back here in a notebook, in a new tab, you can enable it by making some changes. You can come back here inside setting. Inside setting, you can cross it and just go advanced, drop it, or notification, compute, drop down. You will find security label tools. Can you see so many security related tools are there where we had instance profile and other things also. Let's go back here. You can see these options are showing here. Can you see DBFS file browser is showing here? You need to enable or disable this DBFS file browser. You can click on it, this button where we had on and off toggle button. You just toggle it and make it visible for your file. Come back to my original notebook. Here I can see DBFS. If I show DBS table, all my tables are there. If I show DBS Databricks file system. I can see Databricks file system. Yes, I'm not going to click here. Now this is showing all my files to Databricks file system. If you expand this one, you can see dataset results, users, everything is showing here, right? If you go back here, you will find so many things are already there, right? So I can type, if you want to know all the magic commands available in Databricks, you can go back here and write ls magic. Just simply, if you want to know all the available command, just click here, and inside this I just write double hash and this paste this one and just run this one and just run this ls magic, run this code. You can see available line magics are there: percentage cp, percentage kl, load, matplotlib, system, everything is there. Those are available sale magics. You can see like we had this pip, perl magics are there. For example, we have file are there, percentage html are there. So we had these all. Automatic is on, percentage prefix is not needed for line magics. So there are difference between 1% and double percentage. All right. Now, what kind of where we use magic commands? So you can use multiple languages in one notebook. You need to specify language magic commands at the beginning of a cell. By default, the entire notebook will work on language that you choose at the top here. So this is total summary of my magic command here. All right. Now go back to the next part. Now I'm going to write something next header. So this header would be DBUtils. So there are several DBUtils. So Azure Databricks provides set of utilities to efficiently interact with your notebook. First, most commonly used Databricks is DBUtils are, for example, we had file system utilities. All right. Number two, we had widget utilities. All right. I'll show how to enable these utilities. Or we had notebook utilities. All right. So these are basic, most widely used utilities. I'm going to comment it because these are not codes. These are just text here. So what are the available utilities in your Databricks? Just type DBUtils. You can see this is showing, and just write help, and you can just write double round parenthesis. Just run this code. You will find a list of all the utilities here. So this is various utilities for users to interact with the rest of Databricks. Credentials. So first we had fs for file system. What is the name of this utility? This is fs. You can see here fs DBUtils manipulates Databricks file system from the console. When we talk about widgets, so for widgets we had this one, widgets, last one. So I'm going to paste it here. This is the name of widget utils. Methods to create or get bound value of input widgets inside notebook. What about this notebook utilities? So when I go back here, can you see this is showing notebook? So there are others utilities also you can see, but out of these, very few we are using very frequently. Let's see one by one how these utilities are working here. Let's see file system utilities. So I'm going to make it here, and this would be go home and just double hash and just home and just clicking system file system utilities. All right, just run this code. Why I'm making this double hash and single hash? You can come back here. You can see the significance of this single hash and double hash. What would be the importance of this one? You can see table of content, and inside this table of content you will find Python code Scala as headings. whereas SQL and DBUtils are subheadings. If you click know all magic commands available, you will find subheadings here. If you want to see DBUtils subheadings, file system utilities, you can come back here directly. Links are available here inside your left pane. Now go back here to our topic, which is file system utilities. When we click new cell, it's going to type dbutils, dbutils.fs, means file system, and I'm going to write help, which is the next kind of utilities. All the utilities related to file system will be displayed. So I'm going to write help, and again round parenthesis, just to run this code. You will find all the utilities here, right? You can see copy, mount, so many others are there. Move, put, remove directory, and we'll see all these utilities one by one inside file system. All right. So let's make first one, which is double hash or triple hash ls utilities. Just run this. Can you see this is showing ls utilities? So what are available list in particular directly? You can enable dbfs. Click on admin setting. You can see this was the link where we can enable our dbfs. You can check your dbfs here as well using manual. Click on workspace settings, scroll down, you will find enable DBFS file browser system. Now you can see DBFS tab. After clicking on this DBFS tab, some set of folders are there. You will find files store here. In left pane, catalog button, you can upload any file system here, and other systems are also there. All right. So I'm not going to upload here, but these are manual process. So I'm going to click this catalog here. If I click on DBMS and if I click on this file system, can you see I can copy path and copy this Spark API format. This would be my path of my folder. I'm going to close this one. Now I'm going to store this path in a variable named path. I'm going to store this file folder, and let's write dbutils.fs.ls. Inside this ls, I'm going to provide this path variable. Let's run this code. Can you see it's showing so many files? For example, Databricks 02 Hero PDF is here. Whether it is available here, just go back here, dbfs. Can you see? Yes, this is available. We had another file, namely theoryquestions.pdf. Is it showing here? Yes, theory questions PDF is there. So this is file information. Here we have size. Here when it was modification time. Everything is showing in this detail here. You can see metadata out of it. So why ls? Just see just above from dbutil fs.ls. Why this ls is there? You can see it is showing list the content of a directory. If you want to see file store content, you can see here this is file store. You can see this would be all the content, copy store, file system, tables. Close it, and can you see this is showing copy store? All right, and other stores are also here. Okay, let's see what kind of other resources, other DBUtils we had. Let's say we want to remove any folder. So I'm going to write rm DBUtils. So let's run this. You can see there should be rm to remove any folder. Okay. So I'm going to copy this folder. Can you see this is just folder? I'm just copy this folder, this path here from the above folder. I want to remove, let's say I want to remove this Databricks 020 PDF. Now I'm going to write dbutils.fs.rm, and inside this I'm going to pass this single quotes and paste that file name which I copied from this, because this is the total path inside this DVMS file store, and this PDF is there. Now I'm going to pass some another parameter which is called true. Why true? Just true is able because if this file is not existing, then it will just reply true. Otherwise, if this file is not existing, still I'm trying to delete it, it will throw an error that this file is not existing in your DBFS. So for this, in order to try, or this, in order to skip this error, I'm going to provide this part true. So let's run this code. Can you see it's showing true, which means my code has been successfully completed. Okay, now go back here. I'm just running this code again, dbfs file store, and let's see, do we have that file? No, we do not have this file, Databricks 020 PDF. If I cross it and you just look very carefully, dive right into the topic, you will find this is not available in this folder. So this, in here you will learn how to create or remove DBUtils file command. I'm going to delete it and let's run this code. Okay, what will happen if I try to remove the same file which is not available in my DBFS? If I run this code, can you see it's showing false? So because this is not available, but I'm going to add this true, but still it's not available in my DBFS. I'm going to run this code. Can you see it's showing false again? All right. So that's a different thing here. All right. Now I want to make directory in that file. So I'm going to make it single hash, double hash, and just make dir ut DBUtils. Going to make that DBUtils here, right? So you can create it DBUtils, and using this DBUtils, I'm going to make fs. Using this fs, I'm just write mkdir. Inside this mkdir, I'm going to write path plus some directory. So what would be using this slash? I'm going to write, let's say, Sachin test file, and just close this code using single quote and just make it enter. Run this cell. All right. So here I'm going to have mkdirs, not simply s. Let's run. This was a typo error. And can you see it's showing true? Let's go back here in catalog in DBFS. Go back here. Can you see this Sachin test file is also presenting? If you see this recording previously, go back to the video, you won't find this Sachin test file. Let's close this file, and I'm going to see this is available here. All right. If you want to see all these files, you can go back here, and want to see manually also using ls. You can see this is showing the file here which we had Sachin test file over here. All right. So it is going to create, but when you go back here inside this category, inside this DBFS, inside this file store, and inside this test file, we do not have anything here. I want to put something inside this. So for this, I want to make some put DBUtils. So let's make sure we had put DBUtils. Going to make it here, and inside this DBUtils, I'm going to put inside a folder. Let's put something inside this one. So I'm going to use DBUtils again. Inside this, I'm going to fs, then put. Inside this put command, I'm going to write path plus single quotes double slash. Inside this double slash, I'm going to paste that file, the same address here. So this will follow, not double slash, this is single slash. It will follow this path. What is the path here? DB file store. Inside this file store, we will have Sachin test folder, and I'm going to put something, namely test.csv, and inside this CSV file, I'm going to write something called one called let's say YouTube, right? So this would be first value. I'm going to make it caps lock. Let's run this. All right, can you see it's just creating 10 bytes. Here we had 10 bytes, and this is also showing true, which means we had created this CSV file, something one row or one content inside the CSV file, and this is occupying 10 bytes there. Let's see manually whether we had created or not. Go back catalog, click on DBFS, click on file store, go back test CSV. Can you see this is showing this test CSV, right? Now I'm going to click on right click and copy this path, close it, and let's see how we can display this one, right? I want to read this file, which means I want to show some header, head DBUtils. I'm going to show this head DBUtils. All right. So how to read the file content which we just written? Just go back here inside this file path equals to quotes and just paste that file. Can you see this is showing dbfs file, inside this file star touch and test file test csv, or you can do something, for example file path equals to just write path plus and this would be new path here. So what's the new path here? Just copy this command and just paste it here, so both will work here. So I'm going to try show this part first, showing this one first option using file path, not file underscore path. So I'm going to use dbutils dot fs dot head. So this is new command using head. So I'm going to write file path run. Let's see whether we can print this one. Can you see this is showing one YouTube? Yes, which we just written here. It's going to read and going to command that file, going to display or depict that file. Let's comment this one and let's uncomment this one, and let's change this file path, file underscore path, and just hit enter. Can you see still we can see the same output, which means both either first option or second option you can give your path. Okay, now I can create another thing using another utils. This is called copy. Just make sure you have double or four. Copy utils, DBUtils, and inside this copy DBUtils I'm going to create another one. All right, so what kind of files I'm going to create inside this copy? I'm going to create two things here inside this copy path. First is the source path. Inside this source path, just click here and I'm going to path plus. First I'm going to give this path, and inside this path I'm going to paste it this one, sachin.tsv. This would be my source path. All right, so inside this source path I'm just providing my source file name. Just copy this entire line, just go back here and just copying this file as destination path. So this would be my destination path. So this would be another example, destination test file and .tst test.csv file will be. What DBUtils we will using? I'm going to use DBUtils.fs inside file system. I'm going to use CP. I'm going to use the CP and provide these two paths. First would be source. Obviously, I'm going to copy from source. Second would be destination. I'm going to copy this destination and paste it here. Let's see, we can copy this path, and after this we will have to pass true again for execution, complete execution of. Can you see it's showing true, which means you can go back here And if you click on this file store, can you see destination file store is there and test CSV is there. If you click here, it's also present here in the copied folder. Now what's other things we can go back here. After this, you can see using this DBUtils, you can display something like, for example, I can display destination path, DBUtils, FS, and then head, and then destination head. Let's wait. Can you see it's also showing the correct outputs which we have had written in such and test file address. Now the same activity can be done by right click on this CSV file. Can you see? Click dbfs. You can click on this copied folder. Just copy this folder or move or rename. You just move this file to destination files. Okay, so that would be the manual process, but we are using the code related and DBUtils related code automate profile, right? Let's try to move something here. I'm going to make another text, and it's 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to write move DBUtils. Let's run this DBUtils. Now I'm going to copy this again. All the same code will be same here. Copy and just make it, paste it here, and just copying this. Instead of CP copy, I can make it move MV, only MV. If you can change this part, destination path would be destination. Let's say I'm going to make it move. I'm going to, the rest would be same, and let's run this code using move command. Can you see it showing true? Let's go back catalog, and if you click on dbfs, click on file store, this is move test file. Yes, we had this test file. So what about the copied folder? All right, can you see it's showing here? Okay, so we can see this is the Sachin test file. Okay, if you go back here, catalog, dbfs, and file system, Sachin test file, do we had that file? No, which is just move from this location to destination test file, which means when you are performing this one copy, so file will be there already there in Sachin test file. It will just copy and paste in that destination path, whereas in move DBUtils, you just cut and paste, cut that file from that folder and just display all the folders here. Now you want to remove any other files, you can go here, just remove folder. You just hit command here and just write dbutils dot fs dot remove, and inside just give path plus and just hit enter and just provide this path, move test file.csv. Copy this one, paste it here, and just give true. Right, and just run this code. You will find everything is just deleted. Now check this move test file. Here I'm going to see file system. Do we have move test files? Yes. Do we have any file in this CSV folder? No. Do we have destination test file? Yes. Let's try to delete this one. So I'm going to copy this destination test file name, .c, go back here in remove code and just paste it here, and let's try to delete this test CSV file. Let's go back catalog again, dbfs, and destination file system. We do not have anything here, which means we had just deleted two CSV file. This is all about magic commands. Let's recap. Let's talk about our progress on our ongoing topic, which we discuss in SQL, in Scala, in Python code. You go back here in table of contents again, what we had discussed, everything is showing here in very clear, crystal clear manner. You can see, and these commands, using these magic commands, we will walk you through the the Azure portal, the capstone project, all the related projects we will be working on. Thank you. In the next video, we are gonna give you a quick review of other Databricks related questions. Thank you for joining here. Thank you for this time. Thank you.